Hello, nature enthusiasts. I'm here on the Pacific Ocean to talk about some invertebrates, and one species in particular. And this is going to be fun. We're going to be digging for sand crabs, Emerita. So sand crabs, which belong to the genus Emerita, and here on the west coast of North America, are species analoga, are found right in this area where the waves break on a sandy beach. They burrow, they live by burrowing into the sand, which they can do very quickly, completely submerging themselves in the sand in only about 1.5 seconds. And they live in that area, filter feeding for food. So we're gonna go in and we're gonna find right where the waves come up and break, and then just as they start to recede, we're gonna dig into the sand and see if we can find some. Have a look. These are really fun animals to catch. They don't have pincers or claws or anything, so they can't hurt you. They just look crazy and are a lot of fun. So let's see if we can find them. So sand crabs like to live right in this kind of area where the waves are breaking, because as those waves come in, they kind of float and liquefy the sand a little bit, make it much easier to move through, and also bringing in nutrients that sift through the sand that the sand crabs can then sift out of the water and eat. Now that means that the sand crabs have to be pretty mobile, because as the tides come in and out, the area where the waves are breaking moves up and down the shore. And so, sure enough, pretty much wherever the water is breaking, wherever the waves are breaking, at high tide or low tide or in between, is where you'll find sand crabs in the sand. They move up and down the beach along with the tides. Well, look at them all. There's another one I just dug up. So you can see, it's quite easy to find these things. So here we have a sand crab, Emerita analoga. Kind of an amazing looking little crustacean. So these are members of the same group that crabs and lobsters and shrimps belong to, the decapods. Deca meaning 10, pod meaning foot, so they are 10-legged. And if I flip this over, you'll be able to see, look at all those legs. 10 legs that they use for digging through the sand, burrowing themselves really fast to keep themselves safe. And the direction they move in, this is actually their front. So this is where their sort of face is. Their eye stalks are there and their antennae are there. Their antennae that they use for filter feeding out plankton from the water. But while their head is at this end, they actually move that way. They move that way. They move backwards, using most of their tail and their back legs to draw themselves through the sand. Pretty amazing little creatures. Sand crabs. Sand crabs are found all over the world. There are about 10 species. And they disperse incredibly well because in their really young phase, after they hatch, the tiny little larvae are actually planktons. They float around in the water and they disperse huge, huge distances. So that kind of helps explain why they're found all around the world. All right, we'll put it into the sand and we'll see if we can watch it burrow. Yep, there it goes. Oh, and washed out with the water. And it's gone. Completely gone. And here, wouldn't you know it, but I actually found a bunch of Emerita analoga, so these are sand crabs, feasting on a dead sand crab. So they are cannibalistic at times, and this was a large sand crab that has died, and you can see a lot of these small ones are thoroughly enjoying themselves, feasting away on the carcass. Hope you enjoyed the video on sand crabs, Emerita analoga. Finally filling the gap of covering invertebrates on my channel. If you're ever on a sandy beach, I hope you find that spot where the waves are just breaking a little bit and can dig up some sand crabs, because they're tons of fun to find and they're really cool, interesting animals to look at. So, thank you very much for the view. Subscribe to the channel. Until next time, enjoy the natural world.